Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray, and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, where we're just sitting right here in a car where we kinda parked last episode. So this episode is gonna focus on oil again. We kinda want to get more flown in, and at the end of last episode we just set up an entire new area down here. After recording, I did notice that we did forget to hook this up, and some of you did comment it as well. So yeah, that is hooked up now, and hopefully it will make all of this run without a hitch. Let's just upgrade this to stack inserters. While we're here, let's just expand out this to get our radars to work. And this is filling up very nicely over here. So that is actually quite good. Let's also get some radars down over here, so we can see the rest of this area, so we can landfill it. I think that would be quite good, since this is somewhat the most direct path for all our robots transporting all of our power down south. So if we look up here, things are going along very nicely. Things are getting flown in, things are being produced, and the thing we're lacking the most is still just copper, batteries, stuff like that, fuel. So we'll see if this can't keep up as soon as this one is full. I think that is the reason why our copper is being drained so drastically as it is. So for today's episode, let's see if we can look at the next part, being the oil into batteries, and then look maybe start to craft some of our productivity modules and speed modules to try and beacon things here and there. So firstly, let's just set up a bit more down here, as that has been our starting thing to do for the last few episodes, just to get our robots working and not idling in the base. That is always good. Let's remove that one, since that is covered by coal. There we are, and then we can go down one further here, and the same here. I'm pretty much just placing down as much as I can, since I know power will be something we will always need. So as long as we just stay down here, just remove this one, we should be able to get a nice clean setup. Let's do the same this way, just to make sure our robots have some things to travel on. There we go, that goes here, and let's just hook up things around this part. Yeah, we can't hook up anything right here. I could hook on one up right there. So that's a lot of solar queued. Look at our robots trying to scramble, doing what they have to do. So how is our construction of this going? Nothing's been delivered yet. Robots should be flying in with the first few things, so we'll just leave that for now. So should we do a little cell for all of this? Because of the crafting time and the amount we need, we might try a different kind of setup for these. I think that could be quite good. So let's try and make an entirely new kind of cell that I've been thinking about making the last few episodes. So firstly, let's just expand this down, and to be honest, one thing I want to do as well this episode, don't know if it's a good or bad idea, but that is pretty much hooking up the construction of our lights. I'm a bit annoyed that whenever we go into map view and go around, it looks dark, and if you see up here with a bit of light, I think it will look quite good. So yeah, let's just set up one to craft that and slowly fill out the base with lights. I think that could be a very nice addition to our base. So let's just have this one. We have better lamps, but that's for my mod, so let's take that away. The mod that makes it so there's light around me. So let's set up the simple one. You can just start crafting. Oh, that flies in cables. Can we set it to craft right next to this one? Oh, we might have to do a small amount here by robot. So let's just try and see how this goes. Power-wise, we are still going through the night without an issue or without a hitch. So we could probably set up a second, what's it called? Copper area. So let's just do that right away. Pretty much just a normal copy one. So all of this will work. There we are. That should double our copper production and hopefully make sure that that won't be an issue in the near future. So steel, copper, not steel, iron and copper is kind of what we're needing, and that will soon solve itself out. We are spending quite a bit of construction robots at the moment. They are pretty much just flying all over the place with with things. Doing look at that mess right here. We definitely need to expand out this this area. That's one thing I know for sure, since that is actually quite important. So there we are. Is this up and running yet? Barrels are being delivered. This is hooked up. We just need a few pumps, bit of pipe, and then we should be good. So we'll come back and check on this in a few minutes when all of this has been delivered and set up. So lights are being made as well. They are slowly being delivered around the base. I actually have no idea what pattern they're gonna get delivered in. So they might just put them willy-nilly all over the place. Is it actually working if we do this? It needs 3. Let's just give it a stack inserter just to make sure that it runs fast enough. I know we're not getting the input yet we need, but yeah. We will just leave it for now. Slowly crafting a ton of lamps. So, as I was talking about before, let's go and look at the new kind of cell I want to try and make. We can use this one, at least as a plan. So what I want to do is try to do a multi-purpose beacon setup. So if we look at this, we kind of want to have an assembly machine in the middle or whatever we want, but also be able to hook up fluids among other things, just to have a modular setup. So what is the maximum amount of beacons we can put around one of these? Let's just take that one and let's see if we do it right here. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Can't fit in one there. 4 and 4. I think that's the maximum amount of beacons we can fit around one assembly machine. To power it, I'll go with a little substation right here. Then to get in resources, we have 2 ways to do it. One, we can have pretty much, let's do a passive provider down here, might be C, and a requester one. Setting up, let's do that for now, limiting it to 1 to have some kind of simple blueprint. And then if you want to use this one with belts as well, we should be able to do something like this. And I'll show you why in just a second. And the same with these out and in. So what if we have something like this hooked up? The reason why I'm doing this is pretty much so we can have whatever uses fluid here in the middle, use that. And we can always add this output fluids. We can have this removed to output things to the belt or grab from the belt, and always output to the logistic network. That also means that this will be completely modular. Look at that, that will fit around, of course, in lines, not up and down unless we turn it. But at least to the left and the right, we can make a modular setup. So I think this is somewhat good for a basic blueprint. So let's just copy it and put it into a blueprint book for future use. I think that could be quite good. Pretty much the place I want to try and use it first will be for our modules. I kind of want to start to use productivity modules around the base. It will increase the energy consumption by a ton, but I think it will be a worthwhile endeavor, both to cut down how many robots we have traveling around and the amount of resources we have to mine to save a bit on that. Crude oil in. This just needs these two, and then we should be good for this one to work. Hopefully they'll get flown in just a minute. So let's try and do a small modular setup, a module setup. This is modular, but let's do modular. Let's see here. Blueprint book. What if we just do it to start from, let's see, this corner right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fits in nicely. We'll be able to do whatever we want to. And if we do the first one, we'll get built. I'll just help it out a bit. So what do you want this one to make? If we start with the productivity, this one will do 15. That means one of these can, oh wait. Let's see if we can do it correctly. I did the math wrong before. So this produces 2 every 30 seconds. This one uses 4 every 30 seconds. So that means we'll have 2 to 1. So let's start by doing this one first. So if we do 2 tier 1s, we will have to do 1 tier 2. So let's just try and set that up in a somewhat simple setup. And we might start to buffer quite a bit, but I don't really mind, since I know we'll be using millions upon millions of modules, or millions might be saying a bit too much, but at least a lot. And there we are, that is the power hooked up. So productivity 1, please request that. Give it a bit more, let's say 20, because then we calculate in the robot travel time. There. And second 1, and then do 1 tier 2 right here. And you'll request that. Please get 20. 20 might be overkill for this one, but to just do it. And for productivity should be fine. Let's set it to 10 instead. So that means we'll produce tier 2 productivity modules in a little while. We are able to beacon it for days. So that's quite good. And we'll start to spend a bit of the resources we have in the base. Not sure our base can handle it, but we will know in a little bit. At least this one has started working and making a ton more plates. Wow, we actually emptied out all of our solar panels. That is actually insane. So that is chugging along nicely. This is chugging along nicely as well. And how is it looking in terms of this part? That is producing oil. It's all been picked up. So far we are not really running as fast as we can, but close to. So let's just keep it at this. I'll just have to monitor if we need a second input and output. If the robots can't pick it up before this fills up, and I think that might be the case. So we should probably add a second one to this. Yeah, this stops and there comes some barrels. Let's just add a second one right here. And when that gets delivered, we will have double output of this. And that also means we have twice as many being requested by our robots. What you could also do instead is do double buffer chests. So if we buffer pretty much, we could try and do that instead. So we buffer what's called the barrels right here. I think we'll try and do that instead. So let's see here, if we go up here instead of down. 1, 2. This one will request empty barrels a lot, and this one will request crude oil. Or we actually just want the empty barrel one, to be honest, because that will be enough. And then we'll do an output for the other one. Because that way the empty barrels don't have to travel as far. Now, we'll do this. I still think it's better. Do comment what you think. What I just was debating with myself internally is that if we do crude oil here, we might have some up north trying to get delivered down here before getting put back up top again. And if we do with barrels, we might have some getting delivered down here, which is actually fine. But then we might as well just do this setup instead, since that doesn't gain us anything in terms of traveling. So yeah, that is what we're going to go with. And hopefully we can get a lot more oil delivered. So we're at least using a lot more robots now. And empty you out. So here we are. Productivity modules tier 2 being used or produced. The same with tier 1. And now we can pretty much just stamp this down a few times if we want to increase the production. But we also want tier 3. So this one produces 1 every 30 seconds. This one needs 5. So that means we have to do 2.5 of this setup. Is that correct? To add up to the 5 we need. So that's 1 every 30 seconds. That's 2 every minute. That's the correct time this. Yeah, so 2.5 times the setup. So we just set that up. Let's see. 1. So that's 2. Let's just do 3. That should be fine. Could fit in 1 more. And those 3 will go into 1 tier 3. And that way we also have a little build up behind it. But let's just try this for now. And you'll make tier 3 productivity modules. So it's going to be quite exciting to see if my math was right there. My track record of doing this on the fly is not the best. So yeah, that is just what we're looking at right now. Yeah, so 5 of these will take 2.5 minutes. Wait, is this correct? Yeah. Yeah, it should be right. We should be producing a bit of a surplus compared to what it needs. So let's leave it at this, and hopefully we'll get ourselves some productivity modules. And in theory, we can just copy paste this one over to somewhere else and be good. Can we fit in one more? We can, but that doesn't help anything in terms of production. Yeah, we'll just leave it at this for now to not tax our system too heavily. So I think that is good in terms of getting productivity modules. So that is all of that productivity. Do you want to get the speed ones done as well? Look how expensive they are. That is actually quite a lot of raw resources. But yeah, we'll just let it go and use it somewhere around the base. So how's it going down here? We have radar coverage now. That means we can start to landfill in the rest of this. Let's just give it a bit more than we did before, so we can actually fit in a radar as well. Oh, let's hold down shift. There we are. And let's do the same over here to fit in a radar. So we can actually see what's going on. Because right now it just barely can't fit in. And I don't want to put it anywhere else to keep the grid formation alive. There we are. So how's this looking? Solar panels are done. Accumulators are getting delivered. And that is actually the big thing we miss right now. Lamps also getting delivered down here, I can see. Where does this one want to go? Let's just follow it. It should almost be at the bottom. So it seems to be... Oh, it ran out of power. But at least somewhere down here. And it will take so long before they're all put in. Power-wise, it's going to go all the way down here. Wow, let's take the furthest away you can do. Why not? So look at the power consumption. It should be going up. Wow, is it really that much? That's not too... Yeah, went from almost nothing to 1 megawatts. Seriously, that's actually a lot of power they're draining. That's just kilowatts. It should be fine. Megawatts, kilowatts. Yeah, this is the same as about 6 solar panels, 7 solar panels. So hopefully it's good. If not, we'll have to figure it out. But in a 10-minute one, yeah, almost nothing used. How about down here? This is still being delivered. That is pretty much what's holding us back at the moment. So hopefully one more will solve that. So what is the next thing we have to look at? This one is going. We have our first productivity modules. And you can go back into the network. That'll be fine. Same with a lot of you. All the coal can go away. And away with the wood as well. So power-wise, yeah, steam engines is still quite needed, even though we are expanding as fast as we can. So how about over here? We're still not building up a surplus. Oh, we are almost building up a surplus here now because of the inputs. That's quite nice. Oh, the same over here. So we have both of them running. And so far they're not filling up at an alarming rate. We are producing quite a lot of petroleum as well, which should increase our sulfuric acid production. Because our sulfur is starting to work as well. Yeah, we're still lacking a bit, but that is what's going on. Oh, we forgot to hook up that part. So let's hook up that. Let's remove this one and that one. And you're not needed either. Same with this one. I'm just removing them to make sure we don't connect it up to some other side. Though I don't think that should be an issue. But it's always good to be diligent about how we hook it up. But there we are. And that should activate all of the production over here as well. And look at the light. That's so nice. We have a bit of light now. Oh. Look at that. Slowly spreading out. We can finally see a bit. Here and there. How much power are you using at night? 3 megawatts. That is actually a bit substantial. Oh well, we will we'll see. One cell is 8 megawatts, so hopefully it won't be an issue, because we'll just add more and more solar to compensate for that. So let's do this. Let's see here, more power. Just so it can do it without us having to worry about it in the future. So as you can see, when building a Megabase, one of the things you have to worry a lot about is actually the power. Not the most exciting thing, but it is one of the most important things. So just remembering to do this once in a while will save you a lot of hassle. Especially if you're doing a solar setup for it. And over here we can add some more. A bit of maintenance in terms of getting this running. Should also be able to put down a radar. Nope, that's in the dark. But we can do it. We'll be right here then. Yeah, let's do that. Hopefully that will give us a good coverage. To be honest, let's do it over here instead. As this one I can gather from somewhere else. Maybe just right here. There we are. So hopefully that's gonna discover most of the lake for us. We can at least see all of this now. That also means we can landfill in quite a bit. There we go. And we almost have the next super highway going. Could we do the same with this little part here? And there we are. That will slowly get filled in. We'll have a few nice land bridges. We could actually do a checkered water thing. That could probably look quite cool. Because it is needed for our robots. So this is all hooked up now. So what are we missing? Oh, is steel starting to be an issue now? Yeah, steel is a bit of an issue. So we might want to put in the next little steel line. Let's just take one more for now. And then we'll soon start to beacon all of it. But there we are. That is more steel. There we are. 2 of these are producing. A lot is being picked up. A lot of barrels are being delivered. So should we do what we did before? We could do a buffer one here. Then they don't have to travel that far to deliver them. And we'll have extra capacity going down here. But since this one can't even output enough, I think we are somewhat good like this. Especially at this distance. When you go further and further away, buffer change just becomes more and more important. But right now they are actually fine as is. Yeah, we are running empty on quite a lot of things. And that's just the nature of a base right now. We are producing quite a bit, but not enough to supply all we need. That will need a much bigger increase in infrastructure. So just having a small look around here. things are getting up and running very, very quickly. As the last thing this episode, let's just check our production of solar panels. 100 something a minute, so that's pretty much one cell every minute. In terms of accumulators, we're doing 80, so that's about half a cell a minute. So yeah, we are pretty much on track to having a lot of this running, and the only thing that's holding us back is petroleum. So should we just make one more of these cells? Will that help anything? Probably will, but is water holding us back? Ah, the good old water. So let's go down and set that up as the last one. We can do a nice water setup right here, just to deliver the water we need for these, since that is actually not over here, that is, but over here the main issue, that we're not producing enough water. So are we able to just do this? That will be very nice if we can do this. Go down here and put it down somewhere where it makes sense. We can't, and I kind of want to do it this way anyway. So let's just drive down there, do it by hand. That is a bit easier with water once in a while. And rocket fuel. To be honest, let's just request a bit to have on me at all time. Yeah. Oh, 10 is enough. There we are. Not that I think we have that much in our base yet. But let's go and solve that water problem. Luckily we did make all of this next to things. So it should be easy enough to set up. Because missing water is a kind of silly thing to be holding us back. So let's just gather a few pumps. Where are you at? Might actually have gotten... Can't remember if we have. Let's see. No. Let's see. 1, 2, 3 is what we want. This is inside a cell. So what if we do it 1, 2, 3, and then we'll just take this little setup here. We might want to have storage tanks to pump it into first. If not, we'll just do it with pipes. I think they will supply faster anyway than any of these can consume. And I know it's not the most efficient, but it should work like this. There we are. This just needs to hook up. That will add more water to our system. Can we put it here instead? We can. And just like a bit of symmetry on that part. That looks quite good, to be honest. Huh. The small things, you know. Landfill getting put in as well. And we have almost 5k, or we have 5.5k robots doing our bidding, and that is also taxing our power network quite a bit and still making us rely on our steam engines. But the setup we made is actually doing wonders, saving us coal among other things. And yeah, let's just do one last thing, and that is set up a few more solar fields. No need to be limited by our production in that regard. And we can do one right here. And is that good? If I haven't told you before, this is pretty much also the main reason why I do grids. Easy to expand, because I don't always know how I want to build things, but this way we will always be able to expand as much as needed without having to worry too much about the designs and such. Let's do this. Yeah, there we are. So that's going to schedule a whole lot of solar panels. That is fine. And let's schedule a bit here as well. And while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna say thank you so much for watching. It's a pleasure doing these kinds of things for you. It is so nice, and I'm having a blast doing this. I never expected it to be this much fun to do a vanilla base, since I haven't done it in so long. So yeah, I'm enjoying it very much. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll give me a like and a subscribe, and then I will see you in the next episode. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've been Dgray, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.